Well, good evening. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day and coming here tonight. We're going to provide you, hopefully, with some valuable information pertaining to our early college, which is our 5th year program. We'll be very efficient. We'll get to the meeting very quickly. At the end, we'll open it up to any questions you have. And if we seem to go fast, don't worry, we are going to video it and we will put it on our webpage. So with that said, we're going to get started. Let's start by making sure we understand fully what the difference is between some of the terms. We've discovered recently that there's been some confusion. When people hear early college, they think, oh, that's when you take college classes early before you're in college while you're in high school. But actually, when you're taking college classes while in high school, that is called dual enrollment. The early college is actually a program where you go on beyond the 4 years of high school and you stay for a 5th year of high school. Well, that 5th year of high school isn't typical high school. It's not like you're going to be in our hallways and going to our classes. You will actually be basically a full-time college student at mid or online. Now, with that said, during that 5th year, if you are an early college 5th year person, you could choose to take a course here on our campus. For example, if you even wanted to be in band class, you could. You just couldn't compete in their competitions. If you wanted to take a weight training class, you could do that. So the 5th year program, where you stay for that year after the 4th year with your cohort, is called the early college program. So there's a difference. Dual enrollment's just taking college classes while in high school. Early college is a part of dual enrollment. There is an application process in order to be accepted into the early college program. And if you do, the school will pay for all of the courses and all the textbooks and the costs associated with it. Also, there's something called the Michigan Transfer Agreement. What that is if you are here in our school for 4 years, you can take 30 credit hours of courses in various areas of study, and if you do that, you get what's called the Michigan Transfer Agreement. It is an agreement amongst all the public colleges in the state of Michigan that will transfer and automatically take those liberal arts component classes into their program. Now, one thing you want to consider is with the transfer agreement, when you go off to a college, yes, you get all the scholarships associated with a new student. However, they may ask you to determine what your major is. So you have to be prepared for that. And that's not a big deal. I've had both my sons have done that. And then if you decide to change your major, you go through a little process, but you can change your major. Okay. So that's the terminology associated with the different programs. Why do we invite 10th and 11th graders? If you're going to get into the early college program, you have to be accepted through an application process prior to October count date of your junior year. So if you are already a senior, we cannot get you into early college. But if you are a sophomore or junior considering it, you have a couple more weeks to discuss it, think about it, and then apply. And then if you are accepted, you can get started into your early college program. Factors that we look for in determining who gets into the early college program. It is ultimately up to the discretion of the administration and a team of representatives that consider each student individually. We will look at PSAT, college readiness benchmarks, as they are an indicator of a student's ability to go off and be successful in college courses. Also, we will look at their grade point average and their grades for academic courses. So we're going to look at some of the tougher classes like your chemistry, economics, civics, courses like that, and see how the student has performed. We will look at attendance to make sure they are a student that, for the most part, has a reputation for showing up to school and doing their part. Another thing that's considered is maturity. And that's also something that, as a parent, you want to think about is your son or daughter at a point in their development that they're ready to take on this challenge, because if not, there can be some ramifications. You can pay for courses that they do not pass or withdraw from. It also is the start of their college grade point average, and it can also affect financial aid down the road if they have some trouble. So there are some things we need to consider very carefully. Ways in which you can complete the early college program. Let me back up a little bit. If you get accepted into the early college program, you can actually participate in the graduation ceremony with your cohort after your 4th year of high school. So you graduate with your friends and peers, but you just don't get your diploma at the end. You have to wait until the year after when you complete the early college program. Nobody will know. We don't, the only thing we do is up on the slideshow for your future plans, we'll put early college student. You're going to go off and continue your education. In order to complete the early college program, you have to complete all of the requirements set forth by Shepherd High School, including the portfolio, the talent portfolio. There will also be a budget component during your 5th year that satisfies the math requirement, and that happens in a class that I instruct called Early College Advisory, and you do get a grade for it. It counts towards your GPA. You come in every couple weeks and meet with me, and we go over budgeting and formulas in a spreadsheet, and it's actually something that's very doable as long as they show up and take care of it. And then the possibilities in the early college program. They can actually earn an associate's degree in multiple different programs. Or maybe they don't quite get to an associate's, but they get to at least 60 credits or more, which would be equivalent to an associate's degree. Other things include a technical program. We've had students go into welding, heating and cooling, other programs, and if they get the certificate in that particular trade or skill, they are a completer of the early college program. The other option is maybe life happens. Things come up unexpectedly. They're not able to fulfill that 5th year. As long as they have completed 15 college credits, which is about 4 or 5 courses, they would have to also do 70 hours combined job shadow, work experience, anything of the such, or volunteer hours, and then they can get what's called a MEMCA certificate, and they would be an early college completer. The pathways. Dual enrollment courses where they start typically as a sophomore, junior, they start taking psychology, sociology, maybe speech, history. And then if they continue on, they typically will complete their Michigan transfer agreement by the end of their 4th year of high school. That will include 2 English classes, English Comp and English Lit, a math class, perhaps it's stats or pre-calc, or even Calc 1. They will take speech, they will take some humanities courses, and so forth. And it adds up to 30 credits or more. The other option, we have a student now who's in the 5th year program, will not do any college course through 4 years, 0. But when he graduates or finishes the 4th year, he will go on and do a certificate program in, I think it's Auto Tech. And he will just take Auto Tech courses and get as far as he can get in that 5th year, and he will be a completer. And again, I've already said this, is during that 5th year, you're basically a full-time college student. Students up at mid, they won't know that you're still in high school. They'll have no idea, unless you tell them. Pros and cons, some things to think about. Some of the pros include it's basically free college for 2 years worth of college. It's fantastic. You get support systems while going off to college. You have teachers here in the high school that are willing to help you. They meet with me regularly, and I try to keep up on them and say, hey, are you following through? Are you having any issues? And so forth. And also, we have a huge success rate. At Shepherd High School, we have like a 98% pass rate in college courses, and that's phenomenal. And I'm here to tell you that the 2% that don't pass the class, it has very little to do with academic abilities. It almost always comes down to maturity. They made some poor decisions. They didn't go to class, something like that. Now, here's some things that you might consider. If you are in the fifth-year program, you can no longer be top 10. The reason that they have given is you are no longer really in that graduation cohort. You can't be in their top 10 if you don't really graduate in that cohort. You haven't graduated yet. It may also affect financial aid or scholarships in the future if you struggle. But here's a misconception. You can get 2 years of college in the early college program. 2 full years. Apply to, say, Central Michigan University, get accepted there, and you are eligible for their first-year merit-based scholarships. Okay, you are still eligible. You cannot participate in high school athletics or band during your 5th year, as far as competitions go. Now, a new rule is, if you are a good athlete, you can, while you're in high school that 5th year, participate on Mid-Michigan college teams. Softball, baseball, cross-country, basketball, I think shooting. I think there's one more, maybe it's bass fishing, bowling. So there are some sports you can participate in. Things to consider. Talk to your son or daughter and think carefully. Are they ready for that type of commitment? Because it is more intense than the high school courses. Keep in mind that failure or late withdrawal means that the family is responsible to pay for all the costs of that course. Future college choice and whether courses will transfer. I always ask that the families make a phone call to the admissions office of a university or college they may go to after the 5th year. And talk to them and say, hey, my son or daughter is looking to do the early college program at our school. What do they need, and will it transfer to your college? And each university is a little bit different. Transportation, it is up to the student to transport themselves to the college. We do not provide that. Mid-calendar is different than Shepherd's calendar, so you have to keep that in mind. Their spring break does not match up with our spring break, and you need to honor the college schedule. If we have a snow day here at Shepherd, but your class is at Mid, and Mid has school that day, you would be held accountable, or expected at least, to go attend that class. And once again, the cost effectiveness is something worth considering. The application, it is due by 3 p.m. on Friday, September 29th. So I believe that's 10 days away. So you have a little over a week to think about it. If you have questions, ask us. The application is available online. And if you go to our onwardshepherd.weebly homepage, you will come across this right here. As you scroll down just a little ways, there's a button that says dual enrollment. Once you click that dual enrollment button, it will bring you to some tabs that you can select, or links that you can select. You want to select early college, which is our 5-year program. When you click that, it will take you to a special note that reminds you you have to go through the application process. There's been some confusion over the years. Some students have, and parents have thought, because they're in dual enrollment, that they're automatically in early college if they want to, but that's not the case. You do have to apply for the early college. And once you click the link here, Early College 5-Year Program Information and Application, it will take you to a written document that shares all of the details and things to consider. Every little detail I could think of, I put in there. So you'll want to read through that. And then at the very end, and actually also at the very beginning, the application is linked there, and it will take you to a Google form, and you just go through and you fill out that Google form, submit it, and then I have record electronically that you have applied. Okay? If you do that and you're wondering, gosh, did it go through? I don't know. Please feel free to give us a call. We'll double check and confirm it. And again, when is the due date? 29th. 29th. That's always a catching point each year.
Brian, I have a question.
Yes.
On your information packet or signature one, you need to sign the information packet.
Yeah, the question is, when you bring up the document, there's some green highlighted stuff that says signature, this and that. You do not have to do anything with that. When you go to the Google form, I actually reference, when you type your name here in this Google form, it's referencing that number 1, number 2, and you'll see that as you go through it. Excellent question. Any other questions? Yes.
What would be the penalty if you enrolled for the early college and then come senior year, your student has a scholarship opportunity to go right in and you get out without that?
Yeah, the question is, what if you applied, you've been accepted to the commitment of early college, all of a sudden you get during the middle of your 4th year, you didn't know it, maybe you're offered a full ride scholarship to Michigan to play football. Well, you're not going to turn that down because of this. So yes, we would work with you. It hurts the school a little bit, but we've done it in the past. The only thing is the student has to have achieved all of these requirements for Shepherd High School graduation. We would call the state, we would remove them from early college. As far as Shepherd goes, it means we get docked as though they were not a graduate on time. That's fine. We can live with our percentages are good anyway. It's not going to hurt us per se. But yes, you can get out of it, but it's not easy. It's not as though somebody can just say, I just changed my mind. They need to apply for withdrawal, have a meeting with Ms. Gauthier and myself, and we'll discuss it. If we feel that's really what's best for the student, then we will consider that. Great question. What other questions do you have?
So, Michael is in dual enrollment already. If he were to just continue dual enrollment for the rest of the junior year and then the senior year, does he have to do the MTA for those credits to transfer wherever he goes?
Okay. So the question is, if a student continues taking dual enrollment classes through their 4 years, if they do not do the transfer agreement, will those college classes still transfer? It depends. What I ask the students to do is to contact the college they think they're going to go to and talk to the admissions office and get it in writing, because it depends on who you talk to, you might get different answers. And you ask them if they will accept it. For example, if you're going to Elma College, well, they're not a public university, so therefore they can choose what they take and not take. But they're pretty good. When you call them up, they'll say, yeah, let's look it up, and they'll tell us exactly what to do. But if you get the transfer agreement, every public college in the state of Michigan is supposed to take it. And I have it in writing from Michigan State and Michigan that they do take it. I know there's been some myths out there. People say they don't. That is not true. And I have it in writing so I can always bring it back for reference. Good question.
So follow up to that, you don't qualify for the Michigan transfer agreement unless you're in the early college.
The question is, you don't qualify for the transfer agreement unless you're in early college? No. You can actually get the transfer agreement in just 4 years of high school, but those that are going on into early college, almost all of them also get the transfer agreement in addition to working towards an associate. These are great. I appreciate you asking these questions. Yeah.
Following up again, is there an application process for the transfer?
Oh, is there an application process for the transfer agreement? No, but what happens is I meet with every prospective senior at the end of the year and I ask them, are you wishing to get the transfer agreement? Yes or no? They tell me yes. I say, okay, you need this, 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 and this. Put it in your schedule. Now, that's something you can also follow up with them and look in their Zello, which is their EDP, where they sign up for classes, and make sure they have the classes needed. Or even call me and we can meet together. I've sat down with parents and students who work together. The transfer agreement, I actually have documents available on that website. If you go there and you scroll down a ways, you'll see Michigan Transfer Agreement. Click that and it'll tell you everything you need to know about it. There's a lot of opportunities. We're perhaps the most robust school as to, you can do a couple classes and just see if you like college or not. You can do skilled trades in college. You can get a transfer agreement. You can go for 5 years. We get some students that end up, when they graduate, they have 70 plus college credits. And that is crazy. And then they can go off to a different university and finish up. Some of them, when they're done with early college, they got their 2-year associates and they're ready to go right into the workforce. It just depends on what they go into. Computer-aided drafting is one they can go into now. And actually, during their second year, a lot of them are getting assigned into an apprenticeship or an internship, and they get hired right there. It's really nice. Yes.
All right, one more. If you're gonna do the early college, so like in the 5th year, you have to know what it is, sign up for your major.
Do you have to sign up for your major if you're doing the early college? Yes and no. You will meet with a mid-advisor during your 4th year of high school, and they'll ask you, what do you want to go into? Now, if you say, I don't know, I know I want to go on to college, they will probably put you into some sort of generalized transfer degree, which is okay. Now, if you know I want to go into computer-aided drafting, or accounting, they will put you into that and get you at least the 2 years of it. Maybe it's an associate, maybe it's a transfer degree. So you could get like an accounting transfer degree, which then those 2 years will transfer over to CMU or Northwood, and you got 2 years done and you're ready to go. Okay.
So, you know what you want to do, if you just start doing that 5th year for, you know, you never let stuff out of the way, and you like, 10th, 12th grader, are you already gonna get most of those general ed classes out of it?
If you're not really sure what you want to do, during your 4 years of high school, if you get the Michigan transfer degree, that's like equivalent to those of you who know, is the university program at CMU, or the general studies at whatever college, the liberal arts component. But even if you don't know, you could still go to 5th year and you could do 2 things. One, you could just explore some things, see if you like them. Maybe you find out what you want to do during that 5th year. Or you just keep working towards some sort of more generalized transfer degree. Maybe you know you want to do something in mathematics, you just don't know what. Okay, let's take a lot of math classes. Or business is a great one. Finance, business, those are some that, well, you can branch off in so many directions and just start going down that path. Okay, let me see if I have another slide. I'm not sure I do. Okay, that is it. Remember, you got to go to the onwardshepherd.weebly.com website. Click the dual enrollment tab, and that'll take you to all the links. We have 2 questions.
So, kind of reflecting on what she was asking, if you don't do the 5th year and you do a transfer agreement and dual enrollment, what do you come out of high school with?
If you don't do the early college, but you do the transfer agreement, when you leave after 4 years of high school, you graduate on time, you will have 30 or more college credits, and you will be able to go off to, say, CMU, I say that because they're close, and you will have the university program done. And you can actually sign in with your major and start working right away into your major. So that's pretty good. And that's with just 4 years. Yeah. The early college just gives you 1 full year more, basically 30 more credits than that.
Are all of the classes that Michigan offers, like the full array of classes available in that 5th year?
classes are available to Shepherd students in that 5th year? Basically, anything except the laws state we can't do. I think we can't do like a hobby course, a religion course, and there's something else you can't do. Maybe it's physical education courses. So they got to be specific towards certain programs. And I don't get to choose that. That's usually, if I'm not sure, I call the state of Michigan. I say, hey, person wants to take this. Is that okay? And they'll tell me yes or no. Oh, there's something else to consider. If they want to, if they get in the early college program, between their junior and senior year in that summertime, they could take a college class and have it paid for. They could do that again after their 4th year, between their 4th and 5th year. Maybe you take a class and just get ahead. That's doable. Maybe the students don't want to do summer class. Yes.
So if you only take dual enrollment in the senior year, you have freshman or sophomore year, and the different program, how many credits does that account for, and what can you do with those?
Okay, let's say you didn't do any dual enrollment until your senior year. And then you say, hey, I want to do the 5-year program. Well, you could get 30 credits, very realistic, for your 5th year. And you could probably do 3 or 4 college classes, both fall and winter. So let's say that's 8 classes times an average of 3, that's 24. You could probably get 50 some credits and not even do dual enrollment until your senior year. There's a lot, and let's say you get going and you say, you know what, I don't like college. That can happen. Now, I'm not going to argue with you. If you got a different plan, let's go do it. But if you get started and you're in your early college, you say, I just don't want to do it. I decided I want to go be a pipe fitter. Okay, well, great, you're going to make good money. I would say you got to get through 15 college credits. So as long as you get through 5 classes, you're good. You're good. And by the way, I do want to say something on that. I spoke to the Pipe Fitters Union. Right out of high school, they will hire a student, pay them, I think it's $21 and some odd cents per hour for 4 years to be trained. They'll take 1 class a week. After 4 years, they become the journeyman. They make $43 an hour. That's equal to $89,000 a year. That's pretty good. If you like it, you gotta like what you do. Okay, that's just a plug. I shared that with my boys. Anything else? Okay, well, I really appreciate your patience, and if you're like me, you're going to leave here, then you're going to think of something you want to ask. Shoot me an email or just call me on the phone. I'll answer it the best I can and put some time into it, but don't forget the application has to be done, and it has to be done prior to or Friday, 3 p.m. on the 29th of September. Okay? Thank you so much for coming out, and hopefully I'll have some of you in early college in years to come. Thank you.